Can videos published online, like on social media or YouTube, be monetized if they use images or videos owned by others? So let's imagine that you are creating a YouTube video or a TikTok or an Instagram, and you would like to use an image from somebody else. Or maybe you want to use a video from somebody else. Are you allowed to do that? The initial level of legal analysis says it is copyright infringement whenever you use something created by somebody else. But there's an exception called fair use. So that's a real high-level overview. Let's get into the details. When somebody creates a video, an image, a song, etc., they automatically own the copyright in their creation. I'm going to call that their work. Whatever work they create, they own the copyright to that. But it's called a common law copyright because it's not registered yet. When somebody then goes and registers it with the U.S. Copyright Office, now they have a registered copyright instead of a common law copyright. But whether it's a common law copyright or registered copyright, it doesn't change the fact that whoever creates a creative work owns that work. So that image, song, photo, video, whatever. So they own it. Now, whoever they give permission to use the work to, that's called a license. So if somebody has permission to use a photo, they have a license to use that photo. What we're talking about today is no permission has been granted. No license is available. So clearly, the use of somebody else's copyrighted work is copyright infringement. Now that we know it's copyright infringement, we say, do any of the exceptions apply, or the defenses is actually what they're called. And one defense is fair use. Some of the ways that fair use can be analyzed are as follows. First, are you transforming the work in a significant way and not essentially undermining the financial rights of the copyright owner? So let's talk about that for a second. Let's say, for example, that you do a YouTube video on one of your favorite books, and you hold up that book on the video and show the image on the front of the book, the cover of it. You are using an image and essentially making a video copy of it. Or you might go into Google image search and pull the cover of the book and put it up in the corner of your video before you post it on YouTube. You've clearly taken somebody else's photo and put it on your video. Now you've actually infringed probably 2 copyrights there, because the book cover is one copyrighted work. And then the photographer who took a photo of the cover has a copyright in the photo. And now you are using it. So you're infringing 2 rights. Is it copyright infringement? Yeah, it is, because you copied something without permission. But does fair use apply? And the idea here is you are not undermining the financial rights of those copyright owners. Let's focus on the book author right now, because you're actually talking about the book and you're saying, hey, here's a great book. I love this book. You should go buy this book. Maybe you even give an Amazon link to buy the book. That's very different from making a copy of the book and starting to sell copies. There, the people consuming your copies are not going to pay any money to the copyright owner. So there is a significant transformation in the copy of the book to the video, and you are not undermining the rights of that copyright owner. You also are only using a very small part of the book. It's not like you're reading the whole audiobook. If you did that, you probably are hurting the financial rights of the book owner. So by doing a video talking about this book, that is a very clear case of fair use. But let's say that scenario is now a little bit different. Instead of talking about how much you love the book, you say how awful the book is and how you recommend people do not buy the book. Now I think there's a better argument that you are affecting the financial rights or the financial benefit the book author is hoping to receive from the book. But there's another exception under fair use that applies, and that is the right to criticize, review, scrutinize, and talk about a particular creative work, something that's copyrighted. I just watched a video by some other YouTubers. These were lawyers who were commenting on the Johnny Depp trial. And so they were taking copyrighted film footage from the trial, which was produced by one of the YouTube channels that cover trials and other criminal news events. And the YouTubers were rebroadcasting that video feed while commenting on that. And they were explaining that they believe it is a fair use case because they're significantly transforming the work. They're providing commentary and additional value. They're not just copying the feed and reproducing the feed. But as you can see, there's no real bright line test like, oh, this is fair use and this isn't. It's gray. And it's intentionally gray because as experts have looked at changing this law and making it more clear, the concern was that might stifle free speech. And so there is a great desire in the United States to preserve free speech. And so in an effort to prevent banning certain sorts of speech, experts have erred on the side of having a spectrum or a gray line which allows for speech and allows judges later to decide, did somebody go too far in infringement? So that's a long way of explaining that content creators are infringing somebody else's copyright if they use any creative work without permission, but fair use then comes into play. And I might need to do a longer video on fair use, but this at least gives you a little preview. There's a second part of this question, which is monetization. I'll rephrase the question here. How does YouTube monetization relate to copyright infringement? It's not the same. Copyright infringement is a legal analysis. Monetization is YouTube's policy and contract with creators and with copyright owners. And basically, YouTube has said, we want to set up a system where if people want to infringe somebody else's trademark or their copyright, they should not be compensated for that. The compensation should go to the copyright owner. So let's say, for example, that I put out on YouTube a video of a musical artist, and I also add some commentary to that. Under copyright law, that may be covered by fair use. I might essentially have the fair use defense and would win in a copyright infringement case. But under YouTube's monetization policy, YouTube has said once there is a claim made to that music, the money from that video will go to the music owner, not the person who posted the video with some commentary. Is it a perfect system? No. Perhaps a perfect system would be one where both parties are compensated for the amount of value they contributed to the video posted on YouTube. In other words, the music artist would get compensated and the YouTube creator would get some portion. But you have the option of doing that. In other words, you can go get a license to use the music and then actually you will get all of the proceeds or monetization from that video. So you have every right to go get a license as a creator from the owner of whatever creative work you want to use. And then you get all the money. So basically, YouTube's policy has said, if you're not going to go the correct route and get permission or a license to use somebody else's creative work, that's fine, but you run the risk of being demonetized. In other words, you won't get the money from that video. The owner of the copyrighted work you used would get the money instead. All right, well, thank you for joining me here today. If you would like more information on me, you can find it at aaronhall.com. If you would like to follow us on other platforms, just search for Aaron Hall Attorney on the various other social media platforms. And if you have other questions, I'd be happy to see about answering them in future YouTube live videos. Feel free to add them in the comments below. It was great talking with you today. I hope this was helpful. And let's stay in touch. You can sign up at aaronhall.com/free if you would like to receive those exclusive training videos for people who are trying to avoid common problems in small businesses. Have a great day.